Hello everybody. Adrian here, midday Queensland time, live from Coolangatta Beach. I'm right behind Coolangatta Surf Life Saving Club, sitting undercover. So I think I might be getting a couple of live visitors. So if you're tuning in, then and you're in Coolangatta, come by. I'm sitting under one of the seats behind the Coolangatta Surf Club. So I do come and visit. If you're in Coolangatta, come and sit with me and be live on the show, and I'll introduce you on the show and we'll have a bit of fun. But first up, if you may, hi Kate, can you please just let me know that you can see me and hear me clearly, so that I know I'm not just talking into thin air, because there's nothing worse than doing that live on the Life Mastery show, because I like to be in master control when I'm on the show. So just a little message to say, yes, hi Adrian, we can hear and see you very clearly. That would be very much appreciated. And being live outside is really beautiful. It's a beautiful breezy day here on the ocean. I was down in Kira Beach, which is just about a kilometre around the corner, this morning at 6:45, doing some yoga, some meditation and some didge playing on the beach. I've had all morning down here because I've also been at a business breakfast at BX Business Network, where, thank you Kate, where I'm the team leader down here. So we had a nice business breakfast this morning with a group of people and doing some referrals for business, and it was a great morning. But here I am now on the Life Mastery show for you. So if you do have any questions on life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in relationship, in vocation, in work, in creativity, sexuality, intimacy, any other aspect of life. So if you're stuck, if you're struggling, if you have questions about any aspect of your life and you'd like some clarity, like some insights, like some wisdom coming through, then please just type in the question in the chat, and I will endeavour to do my best to answer that question and give some insights and support to you. So each week is very, very different. There's no 2 weeks the same. That's what I love about this show. It's live and real, it's raw, and whatever comes up is what we work with. So a couple of things just to get the show started and get a bit of chat going is, if you haven't got your copy yet of Rebirth from Sarah, it's got a great selection of articles in here. I've just picked one up here from Linda Willer-Roberts. Linda is one of the experts on the Spiritual Events Directory show, and she's written about manifesting. There's something here by Miss Clarity on connecting with clarity, a journey to me. There's some fella on page 18 called Adrian Hanks, who's talking about life mastery and life balance. That's a good read. Denise McMaster. There's a whole range of people who've written some great articles in here. There's some horoscopes and moonscopes. There's the show directory on here of all the shows. So look, I've got a few boxes of these as well, so if you need some, contact me or contact Sarah and we'll get those out to you, because it's a great little resource. The other thing I just want to plug as well is the gratitude diary. If you haven't got a diary yet, or if you want something really special, I'd suggest tune in and get the gratitude diary. I've got a few copies of this. I actually went down to Byron a couple of weeks ago for the Starlight Festival, and I went and had a meet-up with Melanie, who does the diary. She's I've known her for quite a while, and I've got a few copies of that, and I can do those at a bit of a special discount for you if you'd like to grab a diary. So you just need to type in your name and write diary in there, and I'll contact you. Anything for me on relationships? Thank you. Yeah, Lisa, really great question. And I'm going to throw it right back at you, Lisa, because that's what I do on this show, because it's all about empowering. And is there any parking available? Adrian, we have a trailer. So Kate, probably the best thing, Kate, I'm just going to talk to Kate on the side here, because she's going to come and be a live guest on the show. I would suggest choose a side street, Kate, just behind Marine Parade, which is the main street in Coolangatta where the surf club is, and go back a street or two, and you might get a double park in one of the side streets rather than just a parking bay. That would be my suggestion to you. Then just walk up towards the surf club and I'm at the back of that. So hopefully I'll catch up with you very soon, Kate. I'm here for an hour, so I'm sure you'll get here in that time. So back to Lisa. Anything for me in relationship? So Lisa, yeah, I address this pretty much most weeks when people ask this question. Two things. One is, have you created a vision of your relationship? Do you know the sort of partner you want to be with? Yep. Have you really got a sense of that? What do they look like, walk like, taste like, smell like? What sort of energy they've got? What sort of lifestyle do they lead? What sort of things are they into? What's their habits? What's their interests? And have you created that vision of that person? And there's a great thing you can download from Google if you Google it, and I share this often, and it's by Oriah, O-R-I-A-H, Oriah Mountain Dreamer, and she's written a piece of beautiful prose called The Invitation, and you can download it. It's just beautiful, and it gives a real sense of that person one might be looking for in life to become that partner, become that relationship. So that's part one, is to create the vision of the one you want. Yep. And the second part is, if you're looking for that partner, if you're looking for that person to connect with, are you the sort of person they're looking for? Have you done enough work on yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and all the other aspects, so that when that person walks in that you have a vision of, your vibration is matching their vision? Is there more to do, Lisa? Do you need to do a bit more work on yourself to match that vibration of the person you're looking for? So there are also two aspects for me of the information around relationship. Preparing oneself, getting all your ducks lined up on the wall so you know you're ready for the relationship. Perhaps there's some more unresolved issues, some past relationships you haven't quite dealt with, that you, if you're not careful, could come back into the second relationship or third or fourth relationship. So clearing up the old mess first is really important. Going, seeing a coach, seeing a psychotherapist, seeing a counsellor, getting all that stuff out of the way, so you're not taking that old baggage into the relationship. I'd recommend that to everybody. If you're coming out of a relationship and you've had a breakup, it doesn't matter whether you're the one that's left or the other person is the one that created the leaving. Go and do some therapy around it. Clear the highway, clear the baggage, get the traffic flowing again, get the energy flowing again, ready for the next relationship, because there's a good chance you'll be taking that baggage into the next relationship and it'll get in the way. So I highly recommend going to do some relationship clearing of old relationship before you're ready for the next one, because inevitably you're probably going to take it into the next one, as it is with the partner. The question would be for me, if I'm going to meet somebody new, is what work have you done since your last relationship on yourself to clear the space to be with me in this new relationship? So I hope that helps, Lisa. Okay, we've answered that. Double park, side street behind Marine Park. Maxine, hi, anything from me regarding my work, please? Yeah, so Maxine, just for everybody here, just for clarity, I don't download from Spirit. So I don't do the medium work where I ask Spirit for guidance. But what I do, I bring in coaching, psychotherapy, guidance, wisdom to empower you to make the decisions. And I can help you in that by giving you a container. So once again, Maxine, what do you want to do? What's your vision of your work? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? Where do you want to be working? Is it work? Is it job? Is it vocation? Is it passion? Is it your life purpose? Are you just filling in a space for a little while, with a job, with a job until you do your life purpose? Or are they connected? So get the vision right. Because everything I do, and I say this every week, I do vision, then I do plan, then I do action. So create the vision, Maxime. What do you want to be doing? And if you type that in, I'll help you through the process. What do you really want to be doing in life? What is your work? What's your calling? What's your purpose? Or is it, as I say, is it right now just about money and a job to get you through the next stage? And that's okay. There's no judgment around what people are doing, but get clear on the vision. What do you want to be doing? Where, who, what, why, where, when, and how? All those questions. And then I can support you. I can help you by bringing things in the process for you. Do the vision, do the plan, do the action. So I don't do the generic question because that's so wide open, and I can get out the I've got my pendulums, and I'll talk about these in a while, and I can do muscle testing. I say, well, what I'm going to do, I've got my list here. Is your work in health and well-being? Is your work in the IT industry? Blah blah blah. What's going to be best for you? And I can do that, but I want to empower you to find it. I want to empower you to find it, because I know if I do it, there's some empowerment, but if you do it, there's more empowerment. And I'm all about personal empowerment, because the planet needs people to be empowered. We need to start making decisions, because the world is changing. And a big part of the change is for people to make real decisions for themselves. So Maxine, what do you want to be doing? Type it in, and then we can go to the next level with it. Okay? Emma, hi. Yes, I do need to. Lisa, any general message for me, please? So same Trudy. That's too generic for me. because I don't do the downloading. But if you say to me, can you support me in my journey going forward in physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, vocational, job, sexual, intimate, creative, and get specific with a question, I can certainly jump on. Because generally I could say to you, where are you right now in life? What's going on for you in life? And we get into a coaching perspective. So the message I would say to you is, are you on track? Are you on track? Have you downloaded the journal from Adrian's shop on his website, adrianhanks.com, and done the self-evaluation? That would be number one. Do you know where you are in life? Are you clear on your vision in life? So that's my message for you, Trudy. But then we can go down the rabbit hole a bit deeper. Maxime, uncertain. So let's get clear on it, Maxime. Let's get clear. Take 1 minute now. This is a really good exercise, and I'm going to ask everybody. If you're not clear, if you are uncertain, get certain. Because 3 things get in the way of life, nearly always. Fear, so then we bring in courage. Doubt, so we bring in clarity and certainty. And then there's hatred gets in the way, usually self-hatred, lack of self-love. So we bring in love, we bring in self-love. So there's 3 anecdotes. There's courage, there's clarity, and there's love or self-love. Yep. Okay, Kate, so right behind the surf club. Kate, I'm undercover. You can see the roof under here. And right behind the surf club here. So I'll see you very soon. It's got a live guest coming on. That's really exciting. Hello, can you see a move to Queensland for me soon? Michelle, I can see a move for you to Queensland if you make a decision to move to Queensland, because it's all about thinking. It's all about what do you want. So yeah, I do see your move to Queensland happening if you do the vision, if you do the plan, and you do the action. Absolutely, I see it. But you have to make the choice. You have to make the decision. You have to say, I'm going to go to, and I'll give you an example. We were in Sydney 12 months ago, and we were in Sydney for 3 years to help my daughter complete her dancing in a ballet dance school. That came to an end. She moved down to Melbourne because she's in the Victorian State Ballet now, and we decided we wanted to move north, back up into between Byron and Brisbane. We lived in Byron before, we lived in Brisbane before, and we knew we wanted to live somewhere around that area. So we got clear, and then I got the map out, and I started to energetically feel into where I wanted to move to. And in my head it was Byron Bay. It was like, I'm going back to Byron. But then energetically, when I started tuning in, I got a map of the whole East Coast and Byron up to Brisbane, and I got my little trusty pendulum map for me, not for somebody else, because I only do it for myself. And then I did the energetics, and it was around, Coolangatta, Burleigh, up to sort of Coomera area. And I was reading a book by Rudolf Steiner, some of his lectures on Genesis. And as I tapped in looking for a house in a region, the Genesis estate came up. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe there's something in that. I'm reading a book called Genesis, and the Genesis estate came up, and it had what we wanted on there. It had a pool, had a gym, and it had a big area that one could rent out if we wanted to do. So it was a community. It wasn't a gated community, but it was a community with the amenities we wanted. It was close to the ocean, or close enough. It was close to the airports, which was great. It was close enough to all the big shopping centres and the trains and the buses for my mother-in-law. And it worked out because we visualised it. We got clear on what we wanted. And then a good friend of ours went to look at the house. She said, yep, it seems to work. So we actually moved in sight unseen because it felt right, because we visualised it. We had the vision, we had the plan, we had the action. So Michelle, for you, get the plan, get the action. Yep. And get really clear on it. And if it's what you want, get clear on your moving date, where you want to be, how much you want to spend. Are you buying, are you renting? Is it by yourself? Are you house sharing? Is it a family? Get really clear on the vision, and then put it out to the universe, and then put some plans into action. Download the realestate.com app and the what's the other one, domain.com app, and type in exactly what you want. I've got that on here because I'm moving in 5 weeks time. Yep. So I've got 2 apps on there. I've typed in what I want. 2-bedroom unit near the ocean. Put the price in. Put in the amenities I want. And I get reminders of those things coming up. And when the time is ready, I'll see the right one and I'll go visit it, and it'll be the right one for me. And I've got about 3 weeks left to do that. But I'm really clear. And I know at the moment it's sort of Burleigh Coolangatta, leaning a bit more, but I've just gone up to Old Kira, and there's a whole row of places up with places for leases, with units overlooking the ocean. And I went, ooh, I could live here. So the next few days is tuning in. So do that, Michelle, get really clear, okay? Where do you want to be? Do you need ocean? Do you need bush? Do you need the mountains? What nurtures you? Do you need to be close to work? Do you need a studio to work from? All those questions, okay? So get clear. And Maxime, you know, if you want to go down the rabbit hole a little bit more, you come down too. Right, type in a little bit more. Let's go down the rabbit hole with you. Yeah, because a bit of a policy I have if I'm working with people, students or clients, there's two things I don't allow. I give a bit of time for it, but then I challenge it. Yeah, I don't do the word maybe. Yeah, and I don't do the uncertainty. I don't do the I don't know. So I don't do maybes and I don't do I don't knows, because I know you do know. I know in your soul you know, but it takes some courage to speak it sometimes. It takes some courage to go and find it, to go deep, to ask oneself, what do I really want? And we all have the ability to do it, but the fear comes up, the doubt comes up, the lack of self-love comes up. So Maxine, a little bit of a challenge for you, if you're open to it, is drop into your courage, drop into your clarity, drop into a bit of self-love, and make the decision to be clear. You know, I say, if you had the magic wand, and I do have one in my studio, I've got a couple, and I use them a lot. If you had the magic wand and you could wave it, what would you wish for? Let's get clear on it. What's your wish? Okay? What's your wish there, Maxine? Yeah? It's your work. What is your wish on your work? What do you want to be doing? Okay? Get really clear on it. If you could do anything in the world, if I said to you, next Monday morning you're going to go out and start a job, and on Friday I'm going to give you, you know, whatever that's worth, so let's say $1,500, what would you do for that time? What would you choose to do to earn that $1,500 or $1,000 or $5,000, whatever your value is for your week? What would you truly choose to do? What would be the thing that would call you in? Get really clear on it. And something I'd like to share here for everybody is getting that value for yourself. What are your life values? What do you love doing in terms of your social time, your relationship time, your vocation or job time? Can you name your 2 or 3 key loves? Yep. So I love to travel, I love to write, and I love to teach. So as long as I'm doing one or more of those things every day, I'm in a contented space. So like now, I'm doing some teaching, and I'm doing some sharing. Yeah. I've done some traveling, I'm down in Coolangatta. Yeah. And I know I'm not writing, but I'm connected to the writing because you're writing on the screen. So I've actually got all things happening there today. All things. There is a little bit of sort of writing in a sense. There's definitely some travel, there's definitely some teaching. So as long as I'm doing one or more of those things, I'm in a contented space. And the biggest thing I find with people with low esteem, with depression, with feeling not good, is because they're not doing one of their 2 or 3 or 4 key things in life. So I urge you to find those things. Yeah? I urge you. So just having a bit of a look. Yeah, I can see the ladies coming. Here they come. Woo woo! Got some live visitors coming on the Life Mastery Show. Absolutely fantastic. Here they come. So it's going to be pretty amazing too. First time we've had some livers coming in. I'm not sure what's going to unfold, but it's going to be pretty amazing. We might have a bit of a Q&A thing happening. Might have a bit of fun happening. Can introduce these beautiful ladies. A couple of beautiful goddesses coming in. Yeah, we got 2 beautiful goddesses coming into the studio. Open air studio. So welcome.
I love your studio.
Oh, you're coming. I'm just going to take a 30-second break. Bear with us. We've got to do the hugs.
Good, I haven't seen you for years.
It's been a while, isn't it, huh? Hello.
Hi, Adrian. How are you? So nice
So
to
come
meet
and
you.
grab a pew and we'll swing the camera around a little bit.
Oh, no.
We've got to say hello. We've got to say hello. Come and say hello to the live guests in the outdoor studio.
It's been ages since
Yeah,
I
just
saw
introduce
you.
yourselves.
Hello, it's me back again. I'm not doing readings. We just came to sit down and listen to Adrian. We weren't going to come on the show.
Yeah, well, you're on the show now. Live guests, I love
Hi
them.
everyone, great to be here.
Yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic
Beautiful
fan of
assistant,
Adrian.
Karen.
Yeah. Beautiful Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we listen nearly every
There you
week.
do. My group. I've got some groupies, and the groupies have come live on the show. How exciting to have live people in the outside studio in Coolangatta. So we've got Michelle chatting away here, and that's a good way of doing it. We'll do that too. Thank you. So Michelle's talking about the movement. Yeah, get clear on the vision, then the plan, then the action, Michelle. And Yeah, so Kate's here. She's found a spot. She's parked up. She's here. So a couple of things I want to share. After I've had a little drink, I'm really excited now because I've got guests. Adrian's not a very excitable person. So. For me, it's about finding that truth, about finding that excitement, about finding one's inner nature and not being afraid to express it. I ran a business breakfast network this morning. I've taken on the leadership role in Coolangatta. And I know the way I run things is different than other people. And the more we get into our authenticity, the more we're our real selves, the more we get the connection. And I like to have fun. I like to engage. I like to be in a fun space. So what I said to the people this morning in the BX meeting, we start at 8 o'clock and I'm usually there about 7:20 to set up. And I said every fortnight, for those that want to, I'll be on the beach at 10 to 7 to do some yoga, to do some stretching, to do some dig for half an hour before we start the serious stuff on the BX network meeting, because that's what I love to do. I love to engage people on doing things a little bit outside the box. So I hope this show will help you to do that. It's to bring you out the box a little bit if you want to go to that space as well. So it's about having some fun. Michelle's got another message. Will I get the truth from my husband? Ooh, alrighty. So we're going right deep down the rabbit hole, Michelle. Great question. So look, I would say if you want the truth from your husband, what level of truth do you want? Yeah, because there's a saying, and just to share something with you, and my guests can listen in live to this, which is fantastic, is 21 years ago I was doing my teacher training in the Steiner School down in Melbourne, and we did meditation training. And my great meditation teacher down there, Hank, gave me a verse, a meditation verse. And I don't always share this publicly, but I'll share it because of what you're saying here, Michelle. And the meditation he gave me to have for every day for the rest of my life, because that's what I believe meditation is. You choose one verse or one mantra or one thing to do every day and then do other meditations. And the meditation he gave me was the one that a lot of people say in court with a hand on the Bible. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's been my meditation every day for 21 years. So I've been down the rabbit hole with that statement every day. So 365 days a year times 21, somebody can work that out. That's something like 7,000 times, I think. And you can meditate on that and go, what is the truth? Yeah, what's the truth? What's the whole truth? And what's nothing but the truth? So the question is, Michelle, what level of truth do you want from your husband? That's the question. And how are you going to retract that truth from him? And the only way you're going to retract the truth is to ask the questions. And how you're going to do that is find a space to be with your partner. Yeah, to find a space to be with your partner. And I suggest with any couples, once a week for 1 hour, to have your relationship meeting, where you turn off phones, you sit down, you light the candle, you have an agenda, you sit down, you meet, and you talk about things like this. And you say, I'm seeking some truth, and the truth I'm trying to seek is at this level. And my question to you is, my question to you is, and you have to get to that depth of communication. You have to get to the depth of trust, because people won't speak their truth unless there's trust. Because if people speak their trust, there has to be a safe container. Because oftentimes if we express our truth, people can use it against us. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but it can come up. So people are afraid to be vulnerable in their truth. So it has to be a safe container. You have to find that truth. You have to get to this place of asking for the truth. And then whatever that truth is, Michelle, and this is where relationships can get complicated, if we ask for the truth, we have to be prepared to hear the truth. And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. So as long as you're willing to be ready for the truth, then maybe ask for it, but be sure that you're ready for the truth, because what you might hear might not be what you want to hear. I mean, there's lots of levels I'm playing with here on this playing field. So I'm just giving a general overview for you. Yeah. So the question, will I get the truth from my husband? One is, what truth? What truth? That's the first question. And are you prepared to hear the truth and receive the truth? Yeah. Hope that helps. If you want to go deeper, Michelle, and you want to do a bit more privately, book in for a session with me. Yeah. And just to let everybody know at the moment is I haven't completed the process because I'm in the middle of the process, because I had a massive big computer crash yesterday while in the middle of the process, and 3.5 hours on the phone to Telstra. But on my website now, if you book in for your 30-minute session, there's a fee. So I did a freebie for a while, but now there's a $35 fee for a 30-minute session with me, which is a lot less than I usually charge, but it gives some value. Because what I was finding, people were booking in for the sessions and not turning up, and I'm not prepared to do that anymore. So I've put a value on that. So the people pay the fee, then I know they're going to turn up. So, you know, $35 well spent for a 30-minute session with me to ascertain where you are in life, and we can go down the rabbit hole a little bit. But when you go to book in, it still might say 20 minutes and a freebie, but it's not, because I haven't finished the process yet because of my computer press. So in transition is the word. So as is life. Yeah, nothing but the truth. Okay, that's a big ask, Michelle. I hope you can get there, and if you want some support, let me know. Tammy, hello. Any advice on career, please? Okay, Tammy, so I don't know when you jumped on the show, but what I do is I don't do the download from the mediumship. It's not what I do on this show. But what I do is say to you, if you had some advice on career, my question to you is, what do you want to be doing? What do you want to be doing in your career? If you had the magic wand, and the same thing as I just shared with somebody before, if you start Monday and finish Friday, and you want me to give you $2,000 for the week's work, what would you do? What would you love to be doing? What would Tammy love to be doing in terms of her career? And if you get clear on that, and then things might come into play for you, but get clear on your vision. And then we can start doing a bit of downloading on how you're going to do that, what guidance you can get, what spirit guidance you can get in that space. But you get clear first, and then we create the spiritual guidance for you. We bring in your spiritual guides to help you on the process, okay? But get clear yourself first on what you want to do. Career, please, mate. Trust is everything. Yeah, trust is a big, big journey. So true. Find the bottom of the problem. Yeah, we've got to go down the rabbit hole sometimes. Isn't more about unconditional love. Let's not judge others on their journey and then truth. Okay, so Tina, that's a good question, because I want to challenge the notion of unconditional love. Because most love I've ever found in my life is conditional from me. Because for me to be in a space of unconditional love, to accept that is a really hard journey. I've tried it. In my relationship right now with my wife, I cannot find unconditional love. I've tried. There's a condition around it. There's an absolute condition. And conditions are around agreements and contracts. So then there's a condition. And I have agreements in my relationship. We have sexual agreements. We have intimate agreements. We have financial agreements. So there's a condition, because a condition is an agreement. So the notion of unconditional love is a very big challenge to get to. I've seen it and experienced it once in my life fully. And it's a little bit of a sad story, but it's a deep story. A friend of mine had a little baby, and the baby died after 5 days. Now that little baby and that mother had 5 days of unconditional love. I'm getting a bit emotional. They had 5 days of unconditional love. And I was at I went to visit the child after it died, and I was with the child after it died with the mother. And still in that space of the child being in death, there was still unconditional love from the mother. And I was at the funeral, I was at the service of the child and the mother. And for 5 days there was absolute unconditional love. So I've come close to it, but that in 56 years of my life, I've come across it fully, wholly once. The whole truth of unconditional love. So I want to challenge the notion of unconditional love. I really do. And there's a good story. I heard that somebody was driving along one day, and the person next to them was talking about unconditional love. And they said, yeah, I believe in totally unconditional love, no boundaries, nothing. So I said, oh, you're wearing a lovely jacket, can I have it? And the guy, because he was in unconditional love and no boundaries, had to give the guy his jacket. That's not unconditional love. That's, let's get clear on the definition. So what I'd say to you, Tina, and anybody else, is get your own definition of unconditional love. What does it mean to you? Because it's too generic to put into place for everybody. So what's your understanding of unconditional love? And find your own sense of what that is. Because I've tried. And I said in all my years, I've come across it deeply and fully once. And I've tried to be in that space. In my men's groups, in my relationships, with myself. I have conditions on myself. So the definition of unconditional love can be quite loose in this space. So I just want to bring that as a question, as a deeper rabbit hole question. So I hope that triggers some deeper thought. So I'm just wondering, ladies, I've got some people in my studio.
Wow, that's really
Yep.
really deep.
Yeah, unconditional love question is deep.
Because I mean, I would say that the relationship that I've got with my husband.
Let's jump in with Kate.
Yeah. Hello. I would say the relationship that I got with my husband is unconditional. You know, we've got a beautiful relationship, but the way that you're saying it, I'm like, well...
Yeah. Is it fully unconditional? So it might be part unconditional, but is it absolutely unconditional, or do you have agreements? Have you got agreements on intimacy, sexuality, finance, etc., etc.? Or is it totally unconditional? You can do what you want.
we would have.
Yeah. Then it's not.
I'm in charge.
Then it's Then it's conditional. Of course you are. As my wife is. So I really want to question because it's a bit of a new age furphy, I reckon, this unconditional love nonsense. You know, I'd like to challenge. I like to be, it's not the easiest position in the world, but I like to be the devil's advocate sometimes to challenge notions people have, because otherwise it's just intellectual claptrap. Let's get into the soul and the spirit of what we're actually speaking and saying. Let's clear that up and let's get clear on it. Let's get conditional on it.
I was actually talking to the group that was on this morning, and we were talking about the love and the relationship and working things out together. And my husband and I, we've been through some really bad times, but we're also at the best point now. And we've been together since '94. So I was actually going to get him onto one of my shows one day and get people to ask questions and get Russ to explain, like, from his side as a male, what makes our marriage work and what he thinks makes our marriage work from the male side.
Great question. And he'll probably just say, "I'll just shut up and do as I'm told."
No, well, we both support each other in what we do,
and that's important, isn't it? But the notion of take it away with you. Take away that notion of unconditional love. Have the conversation with your partner and say, are we in a relationship of unconditional love, or are there conditions? I think it's a great question. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you want to share a little bit? Or you?
No, I've never really thought of it.
Well, there you go. I've triggered a question for you to go down the rabbit hole with it. Because I get this a lot. Particularly in my men's groups, the guys go, my wife wants unconditional love. I say, well, good luck. Because go and talk about it, because it's not easy to get unconditional love. I'd say even the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama's not in relationship. So if he was in relationship with a woman, would he have conditions? It's a question. So, okay, talking about unconditional love, but what about living it? We think it, we speak it, but what about trying to live unconditional love? So anyway, there's a rabbit hole question for everybody, and so thank you, Tina, for prompting that up. Great prompt. Helps others. Okay, so Helen English. Help others, not quite sure what you mean by that. So when you type something in, one thing I love is clarity. Because if you just write two words like help others, it's an open statement. And I don't know whether it's a question, a statement, or tagging onto somebody else's comment. So please, if you can, just take a moment before you type to say, I'm going to make some clarity out of this. I'm going to bring clarity to Adrian so that I can bring clarity. Otherwise, it's just words on the screen for me. So please bring that clarity. Challenge yourself for clarity in your life. It's one of the greatest gifts we can have. It really is, because clarity clears up doubt and confusion. So bring it in. So boundaries, yes. Boundary work is incredible. And our boundaries, for me, if you're in unconditional love, there has to be some form of healthy boundary around it too. So then is it conditional? Is conditional and boundaries not the same in a sense? Yes and no, Krista. Because if you have a boundary, there's a condition. It means you can't come over that threshold. And I can't go beyond my boundary. So there's an agreement. Like in my relationship with my wife, we have a very clear boundary around sexuality and sexual innuendo. I'm quite open. I carry a big open sexual energy, not in terms of a leaky energy, but a powerful male sexual energy. So I have to really hold that line of my innuendo. So I'm not putting sexual innuendo into my meetings with females, or males sometimes. So the boundary's there. So is that conditional? Of course, I've got a condition and understanding with my wife. So they're similar, but you can also have boundaries and unconditional and conditional separate as well. So it gets a bit messy unless you have your own definition. So I have my definition. So my challenge is go and get your own definition. Don't take mine. Don't take the Dalai Lama's. Go and find your own. Spend some time on it. Write an essay on it. Go and do some meditation on it. Get clear with yourself and with your partners and with your own community and your family. What do you mean by boundaries? What do you mean by conditional or unconditional. When I do boundary work in my workshops, I've got these hula hoops, and what they're plastic, and what they do, they clip together. So one hula hoop is like 7 pieces in all rainbow colours, and I do the boundary work. I get people to make the hula hoop in a certain size, a small one, and feel what it's like to be inside a boundary, and what it's like for people to come up against a boundary. And then I put another piece in, so the boundary is a bit bigger, and then a bit wider, and we play around with people's energy fields in terms of the boundaries, because everybody's got a different boundary in terms of the energy field. Some people can have close proximity and not go into reaction, projection and judgment and fear and doubt and fight and flight, and other people have got a bigger one. So you have to find your own sense of boundary: sexual boundary, intimate boundary, communication boundary, healthy boundaries. So it's worth exploring, and I love doing that in my workshop. I've got like 20 people in the room with these big hula hoops, and we're all going past each other, so we're not bumping into each other. And then we put the boundary around the heart, and around the head, and around the genitals, and around the ankles, and feeling the different boundary we have in different parts of our body. So boundary is, boundary work's a whole nother ball game. So another rabbit hole for you. So go down it. I love my rabbit holes. Tina, not to judge others and to accept everyone for their journey. Everyone's different. Maybe we need. So yep, true, Tina. So great comments. If you've got some questions around, throw some questions in there too. Check out Hastings Point. There, it's beautiful. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, Hastings Point's absolutely beautiful place. I'm not sure where that comes. Just for you, Hastings Place, Michelle, where you want to move to. Okay, so yeah, so if that's your place, go visit it. Go and sit there. Go and meditate in the space. Go and check it out. Go and look at some properties. Talk to some locals. Go and try the coffee. If it's good coffee, maybe move there. If it's not, don't move there. Yeah, all those things are important to you. Go and check it out. So Shannon, hi. I think it means to have that respect for yourself first, and then you can have that full respect of everyone others in you without judgment. Yep. So for you, Shannon. Yep. So if you think that's what it means for you, get clear on what it means for you. And this is what I share this a little bit every week. If you get clear on your I statement and say this is what it means for me, otherwise it means you're speaking on behalf of others, and it's different for everybody. So get clear that this is a statement for you, Shannon. Yeah. This is a statement for you, not for others. Let other people find their own statements about it. I think that's a very valid point in terms of conscious communication, particularly these days. That process of saying, for me it means. For me it means. For me, I have clarity on my understanding. And let others, find their space in there. Hi there, Sasha. Great to see you on here too. So we've got a few little statements here. We've got a few things we're discussing here, and every week is so different. It's so much fun. So some fun things you can do is go to my website, adrianhanks.com, go into the shop, download the journal where you can do some self-assessment. Yeah, and there's a couple of things on there. I was at a show the other day, and I've been making these pendulums for quite a long time. I've got some wooden ones and I've got some pine ones. And I'm down to the last of my stock, and I'm anybody that's got a shop, I'm doing a bit of publicity here for selling. If anybody's got a shop or an online process and they want to buy a whole load of pendulums wholesale, let me know. If you want some retail ones, let me know. And I just want to get rid of some stock. Yeah, I did it to my didgeridoos about 5 or 6 years ago. I had 22 didgeridoos in my house, and one of my coaches said to me, Adrian, it's clear time. Get clear, get rid of your didgeridoos. So I put it out there like this onto online, and within a week 17 of the didgeridoos were gone. They were sold, they were given, they were auctioned. There was a whole range of different processes. So I'm clearing out some stock. I'm not going to make pendulums anymore. It's coming to the end of that journey for me. So there's some little pendulums going out there. So go to have a look on the website, ignore the price on there, contact me personally, we'll do a deal. And there's a lot of pendulums going out, so have a look at that. So there's some lovely pendulums, aren't they? Shorter chain, they really swing. So so that's one thing. So go to the website, have a look at the pendulums, have a look at the books, have a look at the workshops, have a look at the freebies, have a look at the videos, and see what there is for you on there. And if you want to engage with me and do some work with me, contact me, and we can have an initial session. Or come and do a series with me. And one big thing is, oh, thank you, my darling wife is on here, Arlene. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, lovely pendulums, they certainly are. They take a bit of process in there, and my beautiful wife's on here. She's the one that keeps putting. If you see a million hearts keep coming up all through the show, that's the little demon wife of mine, Arlene. She likes to push that little heart button, and beep 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 beep. They just keep coming and coming. I get them all day long. It's quite fun to have my little hearts flying up everywhere. It's quite fun. So yeah, engage. Go to the website, have a look, and we'll go from there. Make a connection. If you're really into doing something huge in 2020, I usually take about a few minutes to do my promotions, and you want to go to Africa in August, September, so that's in like 8 months' time. I'm going to be doing a 12 days in South Africa, then a further 9 days in Botswana, Namibia and Zimbabwe. And that's only 8 people on a spiritual tour to Africa. So you can go to Adrian Hanks and get the link in there as well, or you can go to the spiritofafricajourney.com, and there's some videos on there and some costings and different things. And that on Monday, I believe, I'm going to be posting a video, because I was interviewed yesterday with one of my facilitators in Africa on Alan Stevens' Campfire Project. We got interviewed yesterday, and that interview will go out on the Africa trip. So a few things in the mix. Got some workshops coming up, got a few different things. But let's focus back on the Life Mastery Show live on the Spiritual Events Directory with Sarah Watkins, who's absolutely a bundle of joy to be sharing space with, and I'm really pleased to be on here every week with that. But we have a question here from Sasha. Can you use the pendulum today to tell me if I'm going to get my missing dog back? We're devastated. So Sasha, I actually don't like to do things like that, because I don't like to disappoint. Because if I spin the pendulum and say, yeah, you're going to get it back, and you don't, it's not such a good rapport we have or connection. And if I do spin it and say you're not, what does that mean as well? Yeah. That's we got me live. I got an echo in the background. So actually, I might do that in terms of finding car keys and helping people. When it's in the emotional space, I actually prefer not to do that for you. I just don't go into that space. I don't go into the yes/no space in the pendulum when it's around emotion. Yeah, because it's a 50-50 call for me. And I'll demonstrate it for you in the terms of that. Because one thing in the pendulum, if I'm using it, I have to be very clear, not in the emotional space myself. So I have to check with myself, is Adrian in an emotional space to be able to use the pendulum? Yes or no? Well, in this case, yes, I would be in a space to be able to do that. And that's the first thing I always check in with the pendulum for myself is the pendulum telling me I'm in the space to use the pendulum? Because sometimes people bring in their own stories, and the pendulum doesn't get in the clear space to ask the question. Yep, so that's the first thing I usually checking. So, makes sense. Yeah, thank you, I'm glad it does, because I don't want to disappoint you by going, you know what, I can't. But what I could say to you is, are you doing enough to go and tune into the dog? And what could you do more to try and find your dog? So I could ask a few internal questions. Have you been all to the normal places where you would go to tune in to find a dog? Have you been to the pound? Have you called the council? Have you called the police? Have you put up some posters? All those different things. Have you asked the neighbours? Have you done a door knock? There's lots of things you can do, and check those things out, because what's coming up for me is you haven't done enough yourself to go to find the missing dog. And I don't mean that in a negative space, it just means you might be in an emotional space where you haven't just ticked the box of all those things you do. So there's a couple of things you could do, and what it's suggesting is you're going to find the answer whether the dog is going to come back or not. So what's coming up when I check all those things is a door knock. Yeah, so sometimes we can do that. We can go through the list of what would be beneficial to go and do, like the police, the council, and what's coming up when I check those few things I can think of, and there's probably more, is at some point you're going to get an answer by doing a door knock. So maybe a neighbour's seen it or seen something or knows something that they haven't shared because they don't know who owns a dog. So that's coming up strong. So that's how I would check that. I wouldn't just do a direct yes or no. So I suggest, Sasha, because it's come up in that inner questioning, downloading from the pendulum. The pendulum's got all the wisdom inside it, of course. Is to go and do a door knock, and from that, I'm suggesting you might get an answer to your question. So I hope that helps. That's how I use the pendulum, yeah, not just from that straight place. So to go and do some door knocking, Sasha, and find that proximity of yourself where you need that. And my sense is you might get some answers from doing a door knock. and then report back and let me know if you find some news on the dog or whether you get it back or not. Okay. So that's a good way to engage with things like muscle testing, pendulum for me. So it's not a yes or no, because it can be just. We've been around town and spoken to heaps of people and townships out of town. So the question is, Sasha, where have you not door knocked? Where have you not been? So if you've done the places you have, try and fill in the gaps, because there might be that one person where you haven't knocked on their door, or you might have knocked on the door and they weren't home. So you might have to retrace some steps and go back to that space. Okay, so check it out. That's what I'd suggest you, because that's what's coming up in terms of the energy flow of where you need to go on that journey. Yeah, it's like if I go into a supermarket and there's non-organic fruit, our muscle test will do the pendulum to choose which mango to get, because they're all, which one's got less poison on it. I can have to wash less. Get clarity on the question with the pendulum or muscle testing. So yeah, thank you. So I'm just going to do a bit of a time check. We've got about 15 minutes left of the show. I've got these few beautiful goddesses in my studio outside in Coolangatta, the open ground. Is there anything you beautiful ladies of the show would want to ask or say while we're here live? Yeah?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Do you still?
Yes, you do. So,
Do you still do your workshops?
yes, I still run workshops. So I do the personal development workshops, and what I've got coming up, I've got a couple is I've got workshops for people who've already done work with me, so I'm doing some master classes, and then I've got some other 1-day and 2-day workshops coming up that I'll be putting on my page, where I'll be doing boundary work, energy work. I've got one coming up on boundaries and energy work, and how to use pendulum, how to do muscle testing. So I will be posting some workshops coming up. I also have an online program that's a 12-week online program, Life Mastery. And that's, you get your 1 hour or half an hour video each week on your email, and then you get some downloads as well to do the exercises, and that's on things like relaxation, fun, joy, what else is in there, finding space for communication, conscious communication. So there's different topics each week on that online program.
And do you still do stuff with like wayward boys?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I do my coaching and psychotherapy. In fact, this morning I was talking to somebody who's got a 12-year-old who I'm going to do a little bit with. I've been working with a 17-year-old just recently as well, who got a bit off track. So I do boys work as more coaching and mentoring. I don't do the boys work so much in group work anymore. Still run my men's programs, and in fact, if there's any men or if there's any women listening in who'd like their men to do some men's work, I am hopefully starting a men's group in Robina next Monday, and that's a 6-week program. So for men who are willing to travel up to maybe 45 minutes on a Monday night to come and do some men's work, it's in a gym, so we're going to do some physical gym work, and then the emotional and spiritual and communication work as well. So you can contact me. So women, push your men out the door, send them to a men's group, and you can come and do that. So yeah, lots of different things. Tailoring back a little bit, because I'm really focusing on my book writing a little bit this next 12 months. So I'm taking time to do a bit more writing. I've got some books being published. So I'm doing a bit less coaching and psychotherapy and a bit less workshopping, but I still will be doing some. And one thing I say to people is, if you have a topic that you believe I can deliver in terms of conscious communication, energy work, boundary work, or any topic that you'd like to be delivered, and you want to create a space and invite your network in there and invite me in to do that, we can do a joint venture together. We can do some finance on that around together. We create the promotion of that together. You might want to be the promoter and the one that runs a venue, and I just step in. So if you've got a network of people, 6 or 10 or 12 or 20 people, and you want me to step in, then invite me in and I'll come and do a workshop and we can work something out together. I love that, because it means I don't have to spend the time promoting and doing everything. I just step in, do the job, you do all the work, we do a bit of a split, and everybody's happy. So the joint venture, I really love doing that. So I'm open to that if that's part of what you'd love to do, and that can be anywhere around Australia or even overseas. I love traveling. So travel, teaching, writing is what I love. So happy to do that space too. So anything, you've got any questions or any insights, any thoughts, any magic? Yeah, of course, it's only up the road from me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love Brazil, I love the space up there. And what I love to do is invite different networks in. You might have a network, I might have a network, you might have a network, and we just bring them all together. So we do some sharing together. Yeah, and if there's a specific topic, we do a 1 day, or we do a weekend, or we do a retreat even, whatever's needed. We work at a cost and a timing, we get going. Absolutely, yeah, love to. Invite me and I'll be there.
Would you come and play the didgeridoo?
Oh, yeah, so-
at one of my afternoon teas?
Yep, absolutely. Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. Shop into one of your teas. We did a book launch thing, didn't we? Yeah. Actually, just to share on that, we did a beautiful.
When I first
Yeah. Here
so
we go.
I had been following I'd been following Adrian for a couple of years, and we didn't know each other. One of those Facebook friends that you just follow their stuff. Anyway, I had a shop at Wellington Point, so that would have been around about 2015, 2016, and this guy walks in with his brand hat that he used to wear all the time. Yep. And he had that on in his photo that he had in his profile picture. And he walks in the store and I'm like, "Hi, Adrian."
Yeah.
He's like, "How do you know me?" That's right. It's like, "I've been following you for years." Yeah. So you ran a workshop with your book.
Yeah. Well, what we did, we had a tea. Remember, we all had one of your beautiful teas, and we sat around the table. I think it was a dozen people or so. And what I did, I got the book and I got everybody to open a page in the book, and we did a bit of a reading, remember, from the book. For
child's book.
The child's book, and
yes.
no, why am I writing that book?
Yeah, but there was
I also have my Wendy book. I've got a children's book as well. So I've got a little children's book, Wendy and the Fairy Ring Secret. It's on my website. And then I've got the personal development book, Where Am I Right Now? That's about to be republished with new content. But we did a reading from that. So everybody who had the tea opened a page, and we found a connection to where they are in their life right now, depending on the page they opened in the book. And it was a really good fab night, wasn't it? It was good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
So we can adapt to do anything. We just make it up on the spot and we do it. It's fun. But didgeridoo, yeah, it's something. My didge is in the car. Actually, I didn't bring it to the space here, but love playing the didge and run one or two didge workshops every year. I've also got a DVD with chakra healing on it, because I do didgeridoo chakra healing. And one of the things I love to do, and I haven't done for a while, that I'm going to put out there now, is if 12 people would like to get together, so I'm inviting 12 people to come and do a 2-hour didgeridoo chakra healing, we can organise that. So if somebody wants to coordinate that, I've got a nod over here in Brisbane, and anybody else who would like to get 10 or 12 people in the room for 2 hours, and I come with my digis, and we do a chakra healing group energy and then individual work in that 2 hours. We go through the 7 major chakras. It's an amazing process. And I haven't done that for a while, so I'm just putting it out now that somebody would like to organise that, and let's get it together. We can do a didgeridoo chakra healing experience, day, night, weekend, whatever time suits. And I'm happy to travel anywhere for that, as long as there's about 8 to 12 is enough, because I 2 hours on the didge is quite an energetic thing. And we just form a circle. We start at base chakra, we go up to the crown chakra, and everybody gets the 7 chakras balanced. And then we do some group balancing, and then we bring in some questioning around where the chakras might be a bit blocked and where they need to open the petals up in the chakras again. So there is a DVD I've made with Stephen with the gongs. So there was Stephen Sims, a friend of mine. We did a didgeridoo and gong DVD, and I've also got a how to learn to play the didgeridoo DVD on my website as well. So yeah, the didge is a big part of my life. I've been playing for 21 years, and I was on the beach this morning at 10 to 7 playing the didge at just up here at Kira. I play it often. Just love it. So yeah, thank you for the question. And so look, let's have a look at the time. We've got about 10 minutes left. So any more questions? Because I can gas bag all day long. I love being on the show. I love communicating. Love sharing. But let's see if there's any more questions in here. And don't go away from the show without your question being asked. If you have a question, please ask it. And one thing I'll say, and I share this, if you have a question and you're brave enough and vulnerable enough to ask it, you can guarantee somebody else will have that question. They go, "Thank you for asking that question, because I wasn't quite ready to ask it." So you'll always be asking the question on behalf of somebody else. That's just how synergy works. When we have a group synergy happening, what we've got here, the question will always be more than just for yourself. So you're actually doing somebody else a favour. It's like a pay it forward. So if you're on the brink, take a breath and ask the question, but remember it is public, so only ask what you're willing to share publicly, okay? So let's see if there's any more questions out there. Otherwise I can pose something else. And I'll have a little drink. So great to have these beautiful ladies in the studio. It's so exciting.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we might start a bit of a flash mob thing, we turn up at midday. So every second Thursday I'm here, because I run the business breakfast in Kira Beach, So should I be trusting my own intuition? Just 1 second, Michelle, I'll answer that. So I'm here every fortnight on a Thursday at Kira Beach, midday Queensland time, to do the show. So you want to come and join me. I'm usually undercover somewhere where I find a space, and I'll try and make this maybe the spot behind the surf club. So come along and join me, and let's have some party food, and get some didge happening, and get some drums, and let's get into it and have a bit of fun. It could be a whole new way of running the show. And then on the other Thursday, depending where I am, like in a couple of Thursdays time, I'll be down in Melbourne. Then I'm down in Port Fairy for one of them. And already in the last year or so, I've been in India, I've been in Kuala Lumpur, I've been in Belarus twice for the show. I've been in Malini, I've been all over the place. So depending where I am on that off week, I'll still be here as much as possible as I can. But I'll let people know if I can in advance. And if you're in that area, come and jump on. So quick question here. Michelle, should I be trusting my own intuition? Yes, if you're in a clear space. Yes, if your mind is conscious. No, if you're on alcohol, on drugs, even on prescribed medication. You've got to be cautious because you can get mixed feelings and mixed emotions and mixed understandings of what intuition is. So that sixth sense, that gut feeling, sometimes you just know it and you can act on it. Other times you have to really get to understanding what your own trust level is. So back to that question, in terms of the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Trust, full trust. And what does trust mean to you? So yeah, trust it if you're in a clear space. If you're not in a clear space, then you might have to second guess a little bit. So get into the clear space of your intuition. And what does intuition mean for you? What's your understanding of intuition? Because some people think intuition's in the mind, and of course partly it is. Some people go to the heart and some people go to the gut. And some people call it the three brains, the heart brain, the head brain and the gut brain. Now I call it thinking, feeling and willing. I've been, Rudolf Steiner, my teacher, has been writing about the last 100 or 120 years ago. He was writing about the three aspects of tuning into the three consciousnesses. So it's not a new concept. A lot of people are saying they're into this new thing called the three brains. Well, I've been studying it for 27 years, and it's been around for at least 120. And Rudolf Steiner downloaded it from the ancients, from Hercules and all the other Greeks that are 2,000 years old, so it's not new. Sorry to disappoint, it's been around a very long time, and they probably got it from the Babylonians, so it's pretty old. So let's get into where does that trust of intuition come from? Is it mind trust, heart trust, or gut trust? Because intuition works on three different levels. Yeah. So let's get clear on your understanding of intuition again. So sorry about that. I'm always about going down the rabbit hole. Get your own understanding. So I can intuit from here, from third eye, or from here, from outer consciousness, or I can intuit from heart, or I can intuit from gut. So it depends what you're trying to intuit and what level of intuition you're trying to go to. So once again, try not to be generic. Get clarity. Get clarity. So, tune into your intuition here, here, and here, and understand the three levels of intuition. Yeah? So, yep, sorry about the rabbit hole again, but that's just how I work. So, Azra, my spiritual growth, where is it at? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. But what I will say, there are different initiation spaces of spiritual growth. So, and I'll give you an example of working through what I call the initiation levels of spiritual growth. And if you take the Masons, for instance, or any of those inner clubs, they have different levels of understanding and knowledge and wisdom. And one gets initiated at different levels. And if you take the lodge, Masonic Lodge, for instance, you get it to a 33 degree top, which takes many, many years to get to. And any spiritual journey, any spiritual growth will have levels of initiation, levels of growth. And how I explain this in the layman's term is like we start in kindergarten. Yep. And we learn the basics. Yeah, we learn the ABC. We learn the format of that spiritual path. So for me, I follow anthroposophy, or Rudolf Steiner's work. I've done for 27 years. And for the first year or two, I was in kindergarten. I had to learn the language. I had to find a couple of meditations from that lineage. Now, if I'd have stopped at 2 years and I'd gone on to, say, Buddhism, I'd still be in kindergarten because I'm learning the basics of ABC of Buddhism and the language of Buddhism. And then after 2 years, if I'd have jumped across to another path of, say, Wicca, or wizardry, I'd be in the same kindergarten, because the first 2 years is learning the ABCs and the language and meditations. So whatever path you're on, what I say to people, if you want to get on the spiritual path, choose one and do a minimum of 5 years. And you'll get to level 1, you'll get to what I call base 1 of initiation, because you would have learnt the language, the ABC, the meditations. You'll be able to discuss that a bit openly with other people on the pathway and get some depth of understanding with peers in that spiritual path. But if you keep jumping from one spiritual path to another, you just stay in kindergarten. Yep. And then you go to primary school, and you do 3 or 4 years in primary school. And then you've done like 5 years or 6 years of spiritual growth. And then you get into high school, and you're in you've done 10 years of study. And you might have to write your own exams. And the best way to do that is write a synopsis of what you believe your spiritual path is, or write a book, or give a talk, or give a presentation in your spiritual club or group. And then after that, you move out of high school into college, your varsity, and you do a couple more years in that. And that's when you can write a paper on it or something like that. You know, I did advanced diploma in counselling, and part of that was writing a paper. So I had to write a paper. Whew, that was a challenge, especially after my education at school. But that meant I'd advance that level. And then you get into what I call the PhD, you know, you're 20 years, you're 25 years, and you start to get spiritual mastery. So I generally won't work with somebody who hasn't done 20 years of spiritual practice, because I've myself done 20 years of spiritual practice. And that's not a put down on people who haven't, it's just I need that level. Because unless I'm back in another spiritual pathway, I don't need kindergarten anymore. So find out where you're at, Azra. Where's your level? And there's no disrespect to anybody who's still on the level, it just means you're starting. Some people come on the spiritual path and they're starting, that's okay. But measure where you are and stay with it. Find a path that suits and do it minimum, seriously, 5 years. And if you can do 10 or 20 or 30 in one level, you'll get the spiritual mastery. But you're not going to get it if you're a workshop junkie every weekend, you won't get to mastery. And sadly, there's a lot of people out there with their business cards of, Akashic record readers and all blah, 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 blah. I've done 25 different things on weekend workshops, and they don't know very much. No disrespect, but they don't. Because they're still in ABC. Yeah. So we walk on the beach, we paddle in the water, we go up to our knees in the water, then we learn to swim, then we learn to snorkel, and then we can scuba dive. But you don't scuba dive without lessons, without having a teacher. So the first thing, Ezra, is get a spiritual teacher, whether they're alive or not, it doesn't matter, but find a spiritual teacher and a spiritual path, and then measure where you're at in terms of your growth, okay? Hope that really helps. Michelle, or 3, great. Azra, yes, makes a lot of sense. I know where I am at now also. I'm soul brother. I've been on Reiki path for years now. I have 2 certificates going for number 3. Yeah, so I'd say if that's your pathway, if you want to be a Reiki master, you have to do your 20 years, and stay with it, and then claim the mastery. I've just started to claim the mastery in my work after like 27 years of doing anthroposophy, and I'm still uncomfortable claiming that. I still have my moments of doubt. After over 25 years, am I still able to be that spiritual teacher, that spiritual master? Still comes up. And I'm like, Barry, and my mastermind partner is trying to call me. Not yet, Barry. I will call you a bit later. So I have Monica Kwan. Great. I'm glad you have a teacher. It's good to have one. So look, we are coming up to 101 for all you numerologists out there. We are in 101 in 2020. So some good numbers coming out of that. We've had a great show. It's been super special because I've had live people in my outdoor studio, so I'm going to get them to give you a wave.
Hello.
Yeah, and we are going to...
Bye, everyone.
We're going to tune out. If you want to know anything more, adrianhanks.com is the website. You'll also find me on Facebook, and you'll also find me on the Gold Coast, cruising up and down somewhere, and I really would love to touch base with you and have the next conversation. So go and book in for a session, make contact, see you in a week's time on the Life Mastery Show. Namaste.